India and China are home to more than one-third of the world's population and more than half of those who live in Asia. The two Asian giants are also the engines of growth for the world economy. China has emerged as a key player in manufacturing and India in services. Their relationship dates back to ancient times, since these two gigantic neighbors, separated by the mighty Himalayas, are also home to two of the earliest known human civilizations, and they have existed in peace for centuries.
Let me say it's 10th century. You see, the communication between our two nations gradually stopped. Then after that, the Western people arrived in India and colonized India, and the relation of our two countries almost totally stopped. So from the Chinese side, the Chinese people forgot India, and the Indian people forgot many parts of China.
The two agrarian countries, with similar challenges of poverty alleviation, food security, industrialization and growth, embarked on different paths of development. The Chinese adopted the principles of Mao Zedong under a single-party rule, and India a multi-party democracy with a mixed economy model. India was among the first countries to recognize the People's Republic of China. Behind me is Tiananmen, where the founder of modern China, Mao Zedong, fondly called Chairman Mao, raised the flag of the People's Republic of China for the first time on October 1st, 1949. Well, it's a sacred place for all Chinese, and it's also the head of the square, the Tiananmen Square, which is surrounded by famous government buildings like the Great Hall, the National Museum, also the Monument of the People's Heroes, and Chairman Mao's mausoleum. The single-party system in China allowed for great flexibility, and from a growth point of view, it had good results. Market principles began in 1978 in two stages. First, decollectivizing agriculture, opening the country to foreign investment, and then contracting state-owned industry and lifting price controls. From 1978 to date, China has seen unprecedented growth at 9.5% a year. Its economy is the second largest in the world and is projected to become the largest by 2025.
After 78, the Chinese party actually started the open door policy, and many radical changes started working out. So I was witness to those changes. In my view, the Chinese policies are from time to time changing according to the situation, and the Chinese government and the Chinese party, ruling party, is aware of all the changes. As the situation changes, the policies also accordingly change.
Relations between India and China improved substantially with the visit of Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi to Beijing in 1988. The two sides had then agreed to broaden bilateral ties in various areas, while working to achieve a fair, reasonable and a mutually acceptable solution to the border issue. In the last 10 years, the relations have grown steadily.
I think you have to realize how far we have come with China even in the last 15 years. In a sense, the turning point was 1988, which was Rajiv Gandhi's visit. So you could say 25 years, but the last 15 years have seen a lot of forward progress. And we have today almost, I would say, about 140 agreements with China in different fields. About 60% of these agreements have actually been the work of the last 10 years. And we have roughly about 40 mechanisms in different areas. And part of what has taken this relationship forward are frequent high-level meetings, because in a sense, this is a relationship, because it has a complex history, it is a relationship where the leaders have led. And because the leaders meet often, the relationship keeps moving forward.
But while it's a relationship with a complex history, irritants such as the border issue, staple visas, Chinese incursions and infrastructure development along the LAC, and in POK and river sharing are issues that are being discussed at various levels from time to time.
First of all, people must understand that this is a very complex issue. I mean, you are talking of virtually the entire length of the boundary, barring a very small sector where we actually have a agreement, and it's not easy, to put it very mildly, to come up with a solution to such a complex problem. Yes, the SRs, the special representatives, have been holding discussions on that, and I think we have from time to time seen visible signs of progress. A few years ago, in 2005, actually, they were able to come up with the guiding principles and political parameters. So there are a set of propositions which, in a sense, provide a solution or provide the direction of a solution.
Both country, both government, the two sides, our two sides can resolve it with more wisdom. More wisdom. Anyhow, no war. We cannot afford a war between both sides. We actually, if we understand the issue from a historical perspective, the China and India, we have over history over 2,000 years. Just one war. It's very, very rare in human history.
What's driving the relationship, however, is its potential on the economic front. The two potentially biggest markets in the world have set a trade target of $100 billion by 2015.
Indian government should encourage more Indian company or to try to find some way in China. China is a big market. India has a big market. Both the market actually, the potential market of both sides is the largest of the world. That is the situation is not compatible to the size of the two countries.
But I think perhaps the Chinese system could be much more open to using Indian companies, not just in China, because when today Chinese companies are going out in the world. Now, when Chinese companies become global, they need global IT support. And Chinese IT industry does not have a big footprint. It has very little footprint outside China. So we think there's a case here for Chinese companies which are operating outside China to be looking at Indian companies. But apart from pharma and IT, there are other areas. We've been pressing very hard on agro products, on buffalo meat, for example. There's a big market here. But there are restrictions, phytosanitary restrictions in the case of fruits and vegetables. We've been discussing some of them for more than 10 years.
The meeting between the Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh and his Chinese counterpart Premier Li Keqiang is the third high-level meeting between India and China this year. There are 40 dialogue mechanisms at work in this relationship, and it's both broad and it is deep, and it's maturing. Well, over time, this relationship may well become the defining relationship of the 21st century.
They are very pragmatic people, and these leaders who are at the top now have also undergone through the Cultural Revolution period and post-Cultural Revolution period. And the new economic policies started by Deng Xiaoping in the 70s, late 70s. They have all undergone and have worked in remote areas and in different places. So they are very experienced. They know what is leftist deviation, and they also know what is beneficial for their country.